you're well. I hope you're good. I hope you're healthy. We're here to talk Paul Pogba. There is reportedly been a heart-to-heart between Ole Gunnar Solskjær and the player, and confirmation that they will look to offload Paul Pogba as soon as January arrives. I want your thoughts. I want your feelings. I want your opinions on this morning, people. The Discord server is open now for you to phone in, for you to have your say. Morning, Jem. Morning, Andrew. Morning, Lord Phil. All the comments coming through now. Hello to Life with Teo. Thank you for loving the channel. We appreciate that here very, very much indeed. But we want your views and opinions. Man United have had the heart-to-heart. They've had the sit-down conversation with Paul. Confirmation that Mino Raiola's words echo very much that of Paul Pogba's sentiment that he wants out of Manchester United. It could happen as soon as this January if a deal can be struck between Juventus and Manchester United. A player plus cash deal looks to be on the offering, but of course Juve have got to find the right player, one who wants to join Man United, and secondly, who Manchester United want in return. Paul and Ollie have had the conversation. Ollie is adamant and happy that Paul Pogba is going to continue working hard and putting in every ounce of effort available to ensure Manchester United win as many games as possible between now and when he's leaving. And I think that's an element that needs to be focused on and praised with Paul Pogba, the fact that he's not throwing his toys out of his pram. I concur completely that the timing of the interview that was released that Mino Raiola gave was absolutely horrendous. But it does appear that matters are being resolved, conversations are happening behind the scenes, and Paul Pogba could be on his way out as early as January. I want your thoughts. I want your feelings on this morning. Make sure you're hitting that like button. So important to the Football Terrace that you smash the like button, you subscribe, turn on the bell notification button as well. But if you really want to stay up to date with all the content that we do here at the Football Terrace, sign up to our Discord server now. It's open. It's available. It's ready and waiting for you. It's an amazing community, getting towards 1,500 people in there. And we were aiming by Christmas to get up to 5,000 people in the Discord server. So go and sign up to that now. We're going to get Pav on the line to have his say, first of all, this morning in relation to this. I just want to read out some parts of the article before we go to Pav, though, who is on the line with us now. It says here that Paul Pogba and Ole Gunnar Solskjær have held productive talks regarding his current role at Man United and his situation moving forward. Man United were dumped out of the Champions League at the week. I don't know whether to throw that, but we don't need reminding of that in the article. Thank you very much. It says the build-up was dominated by Paul Pogba's future. It came as no surprise that the midfielder was named on the bench. He was introduced after the hour mark, blah, 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 blah. I don't need to go into any of that. Okay. Many questions have been raised over the future of the player, and a heart-to-heart meeting was held between Ollie and Paul. And the pair, despite ongoing speculations, have a phenomenal professional relationship and had a frank conversation about the reasons behind the admission. Juventus are thought to be leading the race for the World Cup winners' signature. Paul Pogba, of course, left back in them, blah, 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 blah. We don't need to go into all of that. It is revealed that Juve are lining up a player plus cash offer, which Manchester United will consider. And I think what's interesting with that is Man United know what they need to do. And I think that whether you think Paul Pogba's right, whether you think Paul Pogba's wrong, moving him on is absolutely imperative now for Manchester United. We're going to go to Pav. Pav, morning, mate. The Paul Pogba saga continues. Is it right, in your opinion, to get rid of him in January?
100%. For his sake, for our club's sake, for our fans' sake, just get him out. Just get him out. I don't care. If it's actually I do care, because I don't really want any of their players. A lot of their players are aging, and I don't want the club to get short-handed or a crap deal. But then I also don't trust the club to actually replace the guy with actual quality. But yeah, I think for both parties, he's clearly made his mission to leave the club. Yeah. It's been going on for almost 2 years now, and we've as a club, we've obviously tried to make him stay, and there's obviously been articles in the last few months that about a new contract. I think we might have actually offered them a new contract, but I don't think they've agreed to it, and I think it's just like broken down. Like everything's just broken down with him, his agent. Like I just don't think it's worked, and he's going to probably be known as a flop, one of the biggest flops at United, probably one of the biggest flops in the league. I haven't really won anything here. But yeah, I think it's best for him to go. And like obviously, I've just heard, like you said, Juventus are offering a player plus cash deal. But after like our defeat to Leipzig, there was a lot of quotes on Twitter, like from people with blue ticks. I've not really heard of them, but what I heard was that he might be going on loan for the remainder of the season to Juventus, and there was some sort of like obviously payment going to be made in the summer, but I didn't know about this player plus cash deal. Like I said, there's only maybe one or two players I'd want from that club,
and
but one of them's represented by Mina Raiola.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen. I think what's interesting is that what you've said there, the player plus cash thing is it's either going to be United get the player plus cash or they have to sell somebody first because Juve have got financial difficulties. Man United need to remain strong here. There are a lot of people saying that Paul Pogba, so Charles Williams here says he shouldn't play between now and leaving. Do you agree, or do you think that there's enough respect? Because, I mean, I thought Paul came on and played well against Leipzig. I didn't see a man with a lack of desire, a lack of work rate. He, of course, got a goal for us. Do you think it's right for Ollie to play him between now and then? Or would you say, do you know what? Best thing to do is stick him in the stand and say thanks for all your hard work, but we're going to start moving on without you now. What would you personally do, mate?
In my personal opinion, I wouldn't play him. But because of what Ollie done on Tuesday, he's basically shot himself in the foot where he needed to take a stand against someone like Pogba and his agent and should have just, I know, like, obviously he come on and played well, but as a person and for the club's sake, you had to make a stand a point and to leave him out, not even put him in the squad. He should have just left him out of the squad. So if you've used him on Tuesday, you might as well just be using him now against Man City or however many games that's left for him till he goes, because you've just used them on Tuesday. So obviously, I saw the comments. What I asked him about Pogba, saying he'd be happy, and he just turned around and said, "Go ask Pogba yourself." Like he knows, like he didn't want to use him, but he ended up having to because the quality Pogba has, and like obviously with what he's done, he did come on and showed fight, but it's just like what he's done. He shouldn't warrant another start again for Man United. Like it doesn't matter if we haven't got other players with that quality. It's just it's about the respect and the principle.
Yeah, I understand.
I've never seen a player do that.
Well, look,
constantly.
I understand that, Pav, and I think for me, it's that if they have this heart to heart, and Paul says, "Look, I do want to leave." If a deal can't be done until the summer, I think he has to play. If a deal can be done in January,
yeah,
and that, but that's the problem. It puts Ollie in a difficult situation because Paul Pogba is part of this squad. He's one of the main players in this squad, and it's been, he's part of his squad for this season. To suddenly be told, listen, we're not going to get rid of him until the summer, but you can't play him. It leaves a major hole. And we saw last season without Paul Pogba, Man United struggled. We don't have a central midfielder at the club anywhere near Paul Pogba's standard, in my opinion. The jury's still out on Donny van de Beek doing it in a Man United shirt. We just don't know. But what we do know is that Fred and McTominay and Matic are average to good. Paul Pogba's top class. So I think Solskjær's left in a very difficult situation. And where I think he's left in a difficult situation, and I understand your sentiment completely, Pav, the difficulty here for Ollie is the fact that when Fergie used to handle this, Jaap Stam or Roy Keane, Rooney, whoever it may be, where he either shipped them out or he solved the problem quickly, the squad was quality. The team was quality. There was an abundance of class and brilliance. We were predominantly, barring when Roy Keane left, challenging for Premier League titles. We were one of the best teams in Europe every time. Ollie finds himself in a very different situation, partly due to his own naivety and lack of ability, and equally 8-9 years of the club being run into the ground since Fergie left, where can he as an individual, can Man United right now cope without playing Paul Pogba? Do you get where I'm coming from? Why it makes the situation harder. And a lot of people say, oh, United shouldn't be hung like bent over a barrel. Well, we're being bent over a barrel. Again, it's not about Ollie being weak. Remember, let's just say now, I love Paul Pogba. I think he's a great person, brilliant player. I understand why he wants to leave. Let's take my head off for a minute and put someone's head on who dislikes Paul Pogba, thinks that he's a virus, and thinks that he disrespects the club. This club makes it hard for managers, because when Jose went into the boardroom and said, I want to get rid of this player, doesn't matter for what reason, but this player is holding my team back. And it might not be for a personal reason. It could just be he doesn't really want to be here. It's making it hard. The club refused to sell. And that's Ollie's problem. Ollie might walk into that boardroom tomorrow, because they've done it before. So why would they not do it again? Where he walks into the boardroom and says, look, Pogba doesn't want to be here. I want to drop him, or I want him sold in January. And the board say, no, you've either got to play him, or we're not going to get rid of him in January. Listen, we've got deals with our sponsors. We need to see Paul Pogba in a Man United shirt, whatever it may be. Now, that's on Ollie then. Ollie then has a response to make to that. But that's the way this football club is run. And it wouldn't surprise me, okay? It wouldn't surprise me at all if Ollie was being hamstrung in that way. Now, it's down to Ollie how he reacts. He can walk away. He can make that public. And if he accepts it, then he is part of that problem. There is no doubt about it. But this is the issue I have with Man United. We are not the same club. We're not running the same way as when Fergie was here. I think it's difficult. We've seen the biggest personality in the world outside of Fergie in the last 25 years of football not be able to do what he wants at the club. Do people really think? I mean, most people think Ollie's a yes man and he's been put in that position because he's weak. So if you think that's the case, anyone who feels that it's just easy for Ollie to do what he wants with the squad, that becomes oxymoronic. It becomes exceedingly hypocritical. And that's my concern here. I'm just throwing that out there as an example, that I don't know if it's as easy as just dropping Paul Pogba or selling Paul Pogba, because for all these things to happen and to move on in the right way, you need a competent board. And our board, we know 110% is an absolute atrocity. It's an absolute atrocity. Pav, thank you for coming on the show as ever, mate. Really do appreciate it. Mr. Driscoll here says, good riddance. Aidan, one of our Spurs members, says, Terry, what player would you want for Pogba realistically? Wow, that's a good question. I like the idea of an Ndidi. I think someone like an Ndidi would improve us massively. Unrealistically, I'd love Verratti. I would absolutely love Verratti at Manchester United. But yeah, it's a difficult one. Who else in the central midfield role? I would have said Thomas Partey a while ago, but that's not happening now. I feel like a defensive player is needed, like a proper CDM. Go out there, break the bank. Who do you guys think? That would be the big question for me. Someone here says, what about a Ronaldo or Dybala swap deal? I don't know about the Ronaldo situation, but Dybala, maybe. But I'd rather use the cash. Do you know what I wouldn't mind seeing? If we could get £70 million for him in January, go for Jack Grealish. It's a different type of signing, but something like that would make me very excited indeed. Very excited. Sam Ingram here, one of our long-standing viewers, says Donny van der Beek can do it in a Man United shirt, but decides to play the blonde Justin Bieber Scott McTominay. I think both are needed in many ways, my friend. I really do. Hamid here, another member of the Football Terrace, says, if Ollie freezes him out of the squad entirely, every time United lose the game, the fans will say he should play. No need to do that. Yeah, whatever Ollie does, if we don't win games, he'll be ridiculed. So I'm past really caring, if I'm being honest. If he doesn't play, his market value is going to fall. So you have to play him for financial reasons. That's a very good point as well. And that is what the board will push. But if he doesn't perform when he plays and you don't win, then the ridicule comes in. iTest here says, I can't wait till Pogba proves all you haters wrong and wins the Champions League. Buffon has been waiting for 20 years. Oh, okay. I kind of get what you're saying there, Ites. And do you know what it is? I want Paul to leave and do well, bro. We haven't had you on in a while, Ites. Call the show, bro. Come on and have your say via the Discord server, brother. I'm sure you know how to use it. I'd like to hear from you. I want Pogba to leave and I want Pogba to do well. I've got no anger towards him whatsoever because I understand why he wants to leave. I'm not happy with all of his actions, but I understand why Paul wants to leave. It's the same reason I dislike my football club. We're run poorly. We're run poorly from top to bottom. And remember, if you're one of these plebs who thinks that the biggest problem is McTominay, Maguire, and Ollie, remember who's allowing this to happen, who's enabling this. You know, it's just a madness how people think. Big show tonight, actually discussing how to fix Manchester United, where we're going to be looking at the major problems at the club. So make sure you're tuning in for that one. We're going to get Nelson on the line next when he unmutes his line. We're going to get man like Nelson on in a few moments' time to have his say. How about Milinkovic-Savic? Yeah, not a lot of people talking about him in recent times, but he was heavily linked with this a few years ago. By the way, nearly 700 people watching. I need you all to hit this like button, people. We're looking for a 50% ratio when we're live to like buttons. I'll be honest with you. I don't know why you guys are not hitting the like button more. You obviously watch the channel every day. Really need your support on that one, people. Hit that for us right about now, please. Nelson's now with us. Nelson, should Paul Pogba stay? Should he be sold? Should he be frozen out of the team? What's your opinion, mate?
Yeah, of course, it should be sold because it's not even a conversation asking if it should be sold. It's when should it be sold, actually, because we built a team around Pogba, actually, but it didn't work. We built a team. We tried a lot of times to build a team around him. It didn't just work. So we have to move on from him and his the type of ideas we were having before, because Manchester United were used to playing two strikers or a striker like a number 10 like Wayne Rooney. And Pogba wasn't going to score that much goals like Rooney. So we never expected that from him. So he cannot play as a second striker or as a number 10 for us because that's not the way we play our football. And yeah, so for me, I think it's best we sell Pogba as soon as possible. I think we should have sold him 2 years ago when he said he wanted to leave in the summer, but because Ole Gunnar Solskjær just started his career, we couldn't sell him because it would not look good on Solskjær that his best player is leaving, like the best player in the team was leaving then. It wouldn't have been good for him, so he had to keep him to the summer. Then coronavirus happened, and he had to stay for another 1 year. And so it's just a marriage that didn't work, and I don't expect Pogba to stay for longer than
and I hear that, and I think for me that's why I'm kind of over the, you know, there's no Pogba. There's things Pogba's done that are wrong, but I also completely and utterly concur as to why he should leave, for him and for the football club. It just becomes, as you say, this really delicate balance now between him playing, him not playing, him you know, how he leaves. And whatever Ollie does will be over scrutinized. Thank you, by the way, Nelson. I saw a video yesterday of Ollie simply telling players to move side to side to create a bit of room for a very simplistic passing drill. And everybody was talking about how he was tactically inept. And I'm watching it thinking, people, the level of scrutiny is just is teetering upon mental illness. It really is. We've got Ites on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Ites, what are you here to say, mate? 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. Good morning, Ites. What do you want to say?
Yes, what I wanted to say is that I don't think it's Paul Pogba's fault that he flopped. I'm hearing a lot of people saying he's a Man United flop, but I don't think it's his fault that he flopped. Yeah, I think that Paul Pogba was the right player at the time with the wrong plan and the wrong reasons. Man United never got Paul Pogba for footballing reasons. They got him for commercial reasons. And let me tell you why they never got him for footballing reasons, and for commercial reasons. Because if Man United did their homework on Paul Pogba, they would see that in his last season at Juventus, he was playing in a role where he hardly had any defensive, and that was creating the goals, scoring the goals. Yeah, hardly any defensive responsibilities. Then when we got him in, we tried to convert him into a CDM. Yeah, and he's been playing there his whole time at Man United, other than when Ole Gunnar Solskjær first came in. So that tells me we never did our homework when it came to Paul Pogba, and we had no plan for him. And it was for commercial reasons, because if you look at it, Paul Pogba's transfer already brought back all the money from commercials that we paid for him and more. I looked it up. So that tells me we got him for commercial reasons and not for footballing reasons. And let me address Paul Pogba's actions and his agent's actions. A lot of fans, their automatic reaction would be like, get out of here, Pogba. Why are you disrespecting the club? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? But Mino Raiola, his agent, he's saying is everything you lot are saying about the Glazers. You lot are saying about the club. He's saying all the stuff we're thinking. So why are we getting angry? He's saying the board isn't running the club properly. We're not playing. He's saying all the stuff we're saying. So why are we getting angry? I don't understand it.
So it's about professionalism. That to address that point, I test fans. I'll give you an example. Do you remember all the Martial fans and the Pogba fans that were angry that Jose Mourinho was publicly outing them, publicly criticizing them, and I agreed with that, because certain things have to be done behind closed doors. Certain things have to be professional. Now, you know what you do for a job, don't you? Imagine your manager was going to reprimand, your boss is going to reprimand you. Would you think it is acceptable for him to do it in front of your colleagues?
No.
Precisely. So for a football manager to publicly criticize a player in the public eye, a private matter, is wrong. The same as, but it works the same in reverse. I know for a fact you've got an agreement with your company. You're not allowed to tweet or post on social media negative things about where you work, are you? Nobody is. Every company has this as part of its contract that you work there. You either had it in your original contract when you signed, or you've signed an amendment at some point in the last 4 or 5 years. Every company out there in the UK has done it, especially I know who you work for, the big company you work for have done that. If you go on the internet tonight and slag your company off, are you going to be in trouble or maybe lose your job?
Of course.
So it's no different, is it? So when a football player comes out and talks about club matters publicly, there's an air of professionalism that is needed. Now, not everything that they said is a sackable offence, but it's the same principle. So for me, I'm remaining completely and utterly consistent. I attack managers who publicly criticize and publicly speak out about things they're not happy with. I think it's damaging for the club, for the players, for the ethos, everything. It makes us a laughing stock. So my energy then has to be the same for a player and or his agent that do exactly the same thing. I can't change my stance. So if you are somebody that was happy, and this is my question to you, if you were happy with Jose Mourinho publicly criticizing Martial and Pogba, then I completely and utterly accept that you are okay with Mino Raiola publicly criticizing Manchester United, because that's your thought is that that's all fine and dandy. Where it becomes very tedious and stinks of it, I mean, it's like morning breath hypocrisy, is where I see the same fans crying about Jose's treatment of Martial and Pogba by publicly criticizing them, but then saying it's okay for Mino Raiola to publicly criticize Manchester United on behalf of Paul Pogba because it's what we're all thinking anyway. It doesn't make any sense to me. So that's point number one. There needs to be an air of professionalism at all times from players, and that's what I demand. So I'm going to be frustrated with it. In terms of buying Paul Pogba for commercial reasons, I agree with you on that eye test. I don't think Man United have ever put him in his best position on a consistent basis. I do think a lot of the reasonings for signing Paul Pogba were commercial as opposed to tactical. But that brings us back to an argument that you and I have had for months now. The board are the biggest problem. So this was all done. By the way, the Paul Pogba deal was brokered before Jose was even our manager. So to even put it on Jose Mourinho would be a stretch. This is how Man United are run. The reason we didn't get rid of him 2 summers ago and 1 summer ago, in my opinion, is for commercial reasons. both what people were willing to pay and maybe deals that we'd already had struck with commercial sponsors that required a Paul Pogba to help push them so that we would guarantee certain amounts of money. This is how the football club is run. And this is how you create these situations and these issues. And then all that ends up happening is that managers and players get scapegoated for their behaviors because, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And until fans like you wake up and smell the coffee, that this club is going to continue to have these issues with or without Paul. And this is my point I've been saying for days. And people think I'm trying to paper over the cracks of going out of the Champions League or overtly defending Oli or overtly defending Paul Pogba. I'm not. You could get rid of Oli and Pogba today, point blank, pay up their contracts, let them leave as free agents. In a year's time, we're going to be having the same conversation about a different player and a different manager because this club is run like trash. And until people like you realize that, mate, we're just going to keep. You are on a hamster wheel, bruv. And that all I'm trying to say to people is, I feel like Morpheus right now, and I'm offering you the red pill or the blue pill. It's up to you which one you take. If you want to go back into the matrix, be plugged back in, that's absolutely fine. But you're not getting off the hamster wheel, I test. The club is run terribly, and you just sat here and confirmed it to me.
You see, I never denied that the club is run poorly. I've always said the club is run poorly. But I don't like it when people always use it as an excuse for the managers. That's what I don't like.
I hear you.
I've never disagreed with that.
Well, I think there's not an excuse. This is where people get just. I think it's about people, and I'm going to be really blunt here. It's about holding more than one thought and more than one opinion at the same time. And I'm not sure whether it's a current element of our social climate where people are very polarized. And maybe it's always been here, and I'm only just noticing it now. But people are polarized. It's, well, Ollie's to blame today, yes, but I'm still more angry at the board. Why are you protecting him? I'm not protecting Ollie. Example being, Tuesday night is a prime example. There was loads of things wrong with what we did, and I was frustrated at the game. But it's 8 years, bro. It's 8 years of the same stuff. And not identical in every single element, but the outcome is the same. Choking in big games, not progressing when the squad on paper appears to be good enough, tactical issues, player issues, club issues. I'm just at a point where I'm thinking, I can't focus on one individual person, one individual mistake, even a body of games. Like a lot of people right now are focusing on us conceding early. I don't even care about that. Not because it's not important in the here and now, but the here and now is too peninsular. It's too short-sighted. It's too narrow-minded. This has been a nearly a decade-long problem, and I want to focus on the big picture here because until we fix that big picture, nothing changes. You bring Poch in tomorrow with all the same behind-the-scenes issues, we end up back here in 18 months. And it's going to continue to happen. But all that will happen when Poch comes in, are you a Poch in guy?
Nah.
Okay, cool.
I prefer.
Who would you prefer?
I prefer a winner. But there's not many good options out there. That's why I prefer Ancelotti.
Yeah, okay. So let's say Ancelotti comes in. I'm going to give you that. If Ancelotti was to come in, I'm telling you now he's going to fail. Not because he's a bad manager, but because the club is set up to fail. And if they don't make fundamental changes, he fails. But what you'll see, and this is why I'd love it to happen, if I remove myself emotionally, because you want Ancelotti because you know he's a top-class manager, and I know he's a top-class manager. I don't think we'll get him, but let's put that aside. He is brilliant. If he came in and failed, which I think he would because of the way the club's run, you would then be awoken. That would be your sort of red pill moment where you would sit there and you'd see it and you'd be like, hang on a minute. Why are the fans saying he's a dinosaur? Because this is what they would blame. Because of Ancelotti's age, it'd be dinosaur. He's past it. He's too old-fashioned. He doesn't know how to manage the younger generation. We've got him 15 years too late. That is what the narrative would be about him. If it was Nagelsmann that came in and failed, it would be too young, too naive. He cares too much about the tactics and not enough about the man management, whatever it may be. If it was Poch who come in, it'd be like, see, he was a bottle job. Tottenham, it was all right what we said when he was at Tottenham. He's a bottle job. Every manager is going to fail in the medium to long term under this regime, but fans are going to continue to blame managers. And do you know how I know this? Because we're 4 years in. We've done it 4 times on the bounce. And the only way a new manager is going to succeed is if there is fundamental changes made in the way the club is run behind the scenes. And until that's done, you're going to keep seeing these Pogba moments. You're going to keep seeing these Ollie moments. You're going to keep seeing terrible transfers. I can't see it changing.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but with me, I don't want to waste my breath on them because I know the United fan base. I don't respect the Man United fan base. The Man United fan base don't have the same unity as the Liverpool fan base or the Real Madrid fan base. Because I know if this was happening at Real Madrid, the Real Madrid fans would not have it. They would boycott everything.
Yep.
They would boycott everything. But the Man United fans, they're too. Their emotions change every single day. I remember when they planned a walkout when Bruno Fernandes came in. But then Bruno Fernandes came in and nobody walked out. I don't right. That would never happen at Real Madrid or Barca. When I see Real Madrid, Barca, Liverpool fans, they have a unity. Yeah, they don't accept this type of stuff to go on at their club. They would not have it. But Man United fans, I don't respect them.
Hang on,
I boycott everything.
But okay, you say us. We're all one. And do you know what, I hear you on that, bro. I hear you on that. And for me, like I said, I had my awakening after the LVG situation. LVG situation woke me up, and I didn't go for Jose in the same way. Even when I wanted Ollie out of this club, I denounced myself from the Ollie out mob because I still at the same time said, yeah, okay, Ollie's not doing a good job, but it's bigger than him still. And I've had that energy. I boycott. I don't buy merchandise from the football club. Encourage other people to do it. I was willing to join a social media movement that was going to make a big noise about this. I was the only YouTuber that responded, that come back saying, I'm willing to make content to help push this agenda. And you're right in that sense that people don't care enough. But where it does matter is that you're now sitting here, and it sounds to me like you're saying the Glazers and the board are the biggest problem. And if you know that, then you have a responsibility to push that as the main notion. It doesn't matter if everybody else is solely focusing on Ollie, because your biggest issue is always Ollie or Rashford. But they are side dishes, bruv. They're side dishes and condiments on the side. They are not the hub. They are not the main dish. They are not the big problem. And you just sat here and said it. So I get confused when you phone up and just moan about tactics and just moan about individual players when this has been going on since you were about 8 years old, mate.
Because I don't trust the United fans. That's why I told you.
Forget United fans. Forget United fans for a minute. Hang on, wait a minute, Itis. Forget United fans for a minute, because you're right in that regard. Man United fans, as a collective group together, do not have the heart or the balls to tackle this matter. They simply don't. They won't do it. Too many Man United fans care about having a social media post in the news every kit. Too many Man United fans care more about the match day experience than getting these people out their club. I agree with you. But you, you are accountable for your actions and your attitude. And you come on here consistently and attack managers and attack managers and attack managers and attack individual players. But now it comes to Paul Pogba, it's the board, the way the club is run, the board. So which is it? Who are the big problem here? Is it Ollie or is it the board? And if it's the board, why do you do the same thing as the fans that you're now having a go at?
It's both. But I don't wanna always use the board as an excuse for the players and the managers.
Okay,
I don't want to always use it as an excuse.
So on an individual game basis, I get you. But remember, Tuesday night as an isolated example, it's not the first time that's happened in 8 years, which is why we're now at a point where we can't be narrow-minded and keep focusing on this little purple patch of form or this little mistake or we went out in this game. It's been going on too long. We have to look at the wider body of work. And of course, Ollie is part of this current squad's problem. But sacking him is going to do nothing to solve the bigger problem until we focus as fans on the bigger problem. It makes no sense to me to sit here and keep again, over and over again, manager and player, but nothing gets better. Can't you see that you're on a hamster wheel?
I see it, but at the same time, I do talk about the board, but I don't wanna ignore the problems, the manager problems. I still want to talk about them
of course,
it's still a problem.
Of course it is, but who employed that manager?
The board.
Who bought Paul Pogba? Who refused to sell Paul Pogba?
The board.
Exactly. So when you start focusing on the manager, let's just say you're right. I saw videos yesterday where people are saying how inept Ollie is and he's poor. then the board are letting that man manage your club. Do you get where I'm coming from, bruv?
I understand.
But you don't, because you're attacking the symptom. You're not attacking the root cause. You know, if Man United or if I'm sitting here with a brain tumor and I've got headaches, paracetamols are going to take my headache away, but they're not going to cure my cancer. And that's what people like you do, mate. And I'm not being horrible. You're taking painkillers. And that's all we keep seeing from people over and over again is short-term pain relief, but with longer-term major implications. We're ignoring the problem. Oh, look, there's a big crack in the wall in my living room. Do you know what I'm going to do? Instead of investigating it and finding out that it's subsidence and maybe getting something permanently fixed so my house don't fall down, I'm just going to use a bit of polyfiller and paint over it. That's what we keep doing.
So basically, I want to understand. So basically, what you're trying to say is, I need to speak more about the board.
You don't need to...
And
okay,
sorry,
go on.
Almost give Oli and the other players a free ride, basically.
No. See, that's where you twist the word. That's where you become that there. What you've just done is the personification of polarization. It is the embodiment of narrow-mindedness. I'm not saying you can't say Oli had a bad game, say that Rashford was poor today. I'm not saying you ignore it. Both things can coincide at the same time, that you don't have to be one or the other. That nobody has ever said that. What I'm simply stating to you is this. Oli, I've said it myself, and you watch my show enough, so you know that I've said I think Oli is pretty much at his limit. But what's my reasoning for not going at him like I did other managers and not being giddy enough to think a better tactical manager is going to improve things? My rationale is that we're not run well behind the scenes, and no poorly run football club, sports team is successful. And what frustrates me is that what I hear from people like you and other Man United fans on socials is, if we sack Oli and bring in a better coach, we'll get back to the top. And the naivety and the stupidity in that comment is, we've said that 3 managers running, and the new guy that's come in hasn't improved us. How much evidence, how many tests, how much proof, how much history do you need to show you that just sacking Oli, just selling Paul Pogba, just sticking Rashford on the bench is not going to be enough to make us champions of England again? It doesn't become a matter of opinion anymore. It becomes a matter of fact. Man United have done all the things that you're now 3 times prior that you're now claiming is going to fix us. It doesn't make sense, bro. It's the definition of insanity to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome, expect different results. I'm not saying you can't criticize or shouldn't criticize Oli, Pogba, Rashford, Maguire. Absolutely. And if things had just gone wrong under Oli, then you focus on it. And a prime example is Bayern Munich, an amazing run football club. You know, they had the gentleman whose name now eludes me again that they sacked maybe a year, 18 months ago. I can't remember his name. Kovac, something like that. I forgot his name. Sorry, I apologize. They brought in another coach, and things clicked on and went perfect almost straight away. He wasn't a good enough coach and manager to make that well-oiled machine operate to the highest level. They were still going to win their league, but they weren't quite where they wanted to be, so they moved them on. But do you know why it was easy for them to take one coach out and put a new coach in? Because the club runs like clockwork with or without a head coach. They just need the best head coach possible to amalgamate it and take the team to the higher level. Man United doesn't run like that. We get rid of a manager and it's a complete overhaul of the structure of the club, like the footballing element of the club again, which means you start from square one. And what our board have done 4 times running now is get a year, 18 months into it and go, I'm not liking this anymore. Let's go in a different direction. So we never have a sustainable model. That's where we're going wrong. We sign players, if you've agreed to on this call, we sign players for commercial reasons, not football ones. How is any manager going to be successful in an environment like that? It's for me, it's not about, you're right in the things you say about some of the players and you're right in some of the things you say about Oli, but it's a side dish. It's a side issue for me because there's a massive elephant in the room that everybody's ignoring. And I can't get myself excited about sacking Oli if I don't know that changes are going to happen at the club, because we're back here in 18 months saying the same thing, bro. And do you know how I know this? Because I've been on social media like I am now, right this second, since David Moyes was around, and I've seen it 4 times now. I can't. It's just a madness to me that everybody keeps ignoring this.
You see, I don't think I'm ignoring it. I don't believe I'm ignoring it. I just don't believe I'm ignoring the other issues as well. That's what I believe. I don't think I'm ignoring it. I see everything.
I'll agree with you. You're not unaware of it, but I would say, having maybe taken 25 of your phone calls in the last 6 months, I would say I've never heard you raise your voice, get frustrated, or overtly condemn this board more than once, where the players and manager get it from you every single time. And I understand if it's and you don't do match reaction shows, so it isn't even that reactionary moment after a game. It's a more longer term element. And for me, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. I get frustrated at individual games, but I'm at a point, and maybe it's because I'm older and my memory of the Moyes era to here is a little clearer in my mind, because I know how old you are. You've told me off air. You were very young when Moyes and LVG were managers. So the likely your memory isn't going to be as fresh, because you probably consumed football in a very different way at that age to you do now. When I was that age, I didn't consume football as intensely. I pretty much watched the games. That's all I did. Does that make sense? So you're not really, you're not there on you weren't on social media doing this type of thing, whatever it may be. I don't think so anyway. You may be different. I think you'll probably agree. So I think for me, that's where it comes down to. And it's more what I hear from people is, and what the message I get from you is quite simply, get rid of the manager, get rid of these couple of players, and we'll be okay. And I think my frustration is just at the naivety of that comment, that we won't, because we're not run well. And I'm still yet to be presented with an example of a team that's been run badly for a decade that's winning major trophies still. They just don't really exist. If we were in a 1-horse or 2-horse race league, maybe. But then you'd see us come a cropper in the European competitions as well. Test, thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. Really do appreciate it, as always. We're going to get Rack on the show next to have his say. Hit that like and share button, people. Hit that like and share button. Sign up to our Discord server as well. Rack, are you there, bro? Man like Rack. Says it's connected, being talking. I'll wait, see if he comes in. Yeah, I'm not trying this morning. I'm not trying to have a go. I thought I'd stay as calm as I can, but I stand by what I say. I understand people's frustration with Wally, frustrations with Rashford, frustrations with Pogba. But anybody that thinks getting rid of Paul Pogba, getting rid of Ollie is going to solve Man United's problems, I'm sorry to say this, but you're deluding yourselves. You're absolutely deluding yourselves. We are kick a can FC. You know what I mean? All we do is kick the can down the road and prolong the problem. We never fix anything. Kick a can FC. That's Man United all over. No doubt about it at all in my mind whatsoever. We're going to have Mr. ABC on the line in just a moment. We're going to give him a call and get him on and have his say. Ruth Dixon here, one of our lovely members, said the other thing about Pogba, he was treated as a scapegoat during his entire United career. He retaliates and we play the victim. Do you know what, Ruth? I completely and utterly get you on that point, and I see that a lot with people. I'm true to my word in terms of my standings. I don't want these things being made public by players or managers, so I will criticize anybody that does that. I think that's the fair thing to do. But I hear you as well. There's this element of fans that want to abuse Paul Pogba, and then when he speaks up back about them, they start to cry. You're absolutely right in that point. We've got Yusuf on the line here. Last call in the morning. Yusuf, what you saying, mate? Yusuf, you there? No, Yusuf isn't there. I'm going to try and get Rack back on the line and see if he's going to chat to us. Discord's an interesting one. It sometimes acts like people are there when they're not. I don't really get it. That's not working. We're going to get Kai on the line. Kai, give us your thoughts and feelings, mate, on this situation. Nope, Kai's gone as well. This is mad. Discord's a weird one. I think we're going to get Yusuf back on the line now. So Yusuf's called me. I've answered the phone. Yusuf, you there?
Yeah.
There we go. We managed to get it working. Do me a favor, bro. Give me your thoughts on Pogba. January? Should we sell him? What's your thoughts on, what eye test has said as well?
Now, with Pogba, we all know the situation. It's time for him to leave. It's good for him. It's good for us. I don't see the harm. Sometimes you just got to part ways with some of your better players and grow as a team. It is what it is. That's how it is. Now, with eye test, I see a lot of what he's saying about Oli, and I agree with like the tactical standpoint. I don't think he's like a mastermind or like one of the top managers in the league. But I always say this: for us to be back to where we should be, first thing is strong mentality. And we've seen that multiple times this season. We start off weak, even if we're playing badly, we come back into the games that we shouldn't be winning and we win them. You could say individual brilliance, but individual brilliance isn't enough. You need to have a strong mentality. To build a title winning team, you need mentality. That's the reason why someone like Silva, Thiago Silva, is doing well at Chelsea, because he brings the winning mentality to that team. So that's just my opinion. So that's the first building block.
One second, Yusuf, where are you? What's that noise in the back? Are you in a kitchen or something?
Nah, why?
I just can hear some really loud background noise. I wonder what it was. That was all.
It's probably like some construction outside.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, what's your second
my
point?
Bad.
No worries, mate. What's your second point?
The second point was now I want people to be logical with this. Look at our squad and look at our competition squad. Are we better than City squad-wise? Are we better than Liverpool? Maybe now with the injuries, you could say we should be competing with Liverpool, but still they're like a well-oiled machine. You've got Chelsea, who have a better squad. Spurs have a better squad and better depth. So if Oli achieves top 4, he has to get credit. There is no doubt about this. Getting top 4 in this season without the players that we needed to get is an achievement. I don't care what anyone says. No one expects us to get top 4. So if we get top 4, I don't want to hear none of this Oli slander. He got us more than we expect.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I find interesting. There's a super chat here as well from J. Cole, who says, this time last season, we were on the same amount of points that Arsenal are on now. Can't judge this season until after January, since we still have 18 games to go, 18 games to play up until the end of January. I hear that point, and I also hear what I find interesting with Man United fans at the moment, legit, is this kind of notion that I hear from some Man United fans that our squad is terrible and poor and worse than last year. And then there are other Man United fans that I listen to who think that our squad is good enough to win a league title. I literally hear this. And this is what I'm talking about wash, rinse, repeat. This is what was said when Jose was struggling, or towards the end of Jose's time here. The narrative was a better manager could get this squad that we currently have to win. Oli then took over, and within 4 months, because we had a good run, see, I was right. And then it was, this squad's terrible. We've got like 7 or 8, 9, 10 pieces of dead wood to get rid of. And I feel like the same thing's going to happen again. If, let's just say, Poch comes in tomorrow and we start winning, people will say, see, told you, Ollie's a bad manager. That's why we're not winning anything. That's what I see potentially happening, if that makes sense. Like, that will be the kind of notion around these things. But then if it starts to go wrong for Poch, it will be, look, the squad's full of dead wood. We've got to get rid of people. People change their tunes like the weather, and we're going to be doing a big show tonight talking about the major problems at Man United, the squad. So we're going to be talking about the Glazers, the managers, Pogba, the squad, the competition, and we're going to be ranking, like on our ranking tier system, the biggest to the least biggest problem. And I'm trying to get a selection of Man United fans on. We're going to take callers as well, because we want to know what's the biggest problem to the least biggest problem. So if people come on and say, our squad's awful, our squad's trash, but then when a new manager comes in and fails, say, the squad's brilliant, I don't want the hypocrisy. Also, if our squad's terrible, how far do you think we can take them? You know, people change their tune depending on who they want to attack and have a go at. And the same Man United fans today saying our squad is good enough to challenge. I know if their favourite manager comes in and we struggle, they'll suddenly say the squad isn't good enough. How do I know this? I've seen it happen 4 times now on the bounce. It's as simple as that for me. Yusuf, thank you very much for coming on the show and having your say, mate. We've got some more super chats to do here. Joe Cole says, can I get on? I want to defend Arsenal. We're about to end the show now, J. Cole, but sign up to our Discord server and come on next time. Mr. Johnson, you did a super chat, but you didn't put any comment in. But thank you very, very much. Final super chat here from. I'm not going to say the name out loud because it's a swear word, but there we go. He says Liverpool fans didn't walk out when Hodgson was in charge and they were in the bottom three. Both Real Madrid and Barca are playing rubbish and the fans don't walk out. I hear you there. Thank you all very much for tuning in this morning. It means a great deal to us here at the Football Terrace that you subscribe, that you watch. We did troll ourselves last night. We did troll ourselves last night as we promised we would. And we did a video, a fan channel review show video, kind of mocking the laughing at Man United fans, basically, after we, of course, embarrassingly fell out of the Champions League. If you haven't watched it yet, why? That would be my first question to you. But what I'm going to do is just post the link now in the comment section live. Go check that show out, people, and share that show for us as well. It's really important that you get that done so you can see me. I'm basically spamming my own chat here. Go check out this video. I'd love to see all of you go across there now and watch that. It's funny. It's funny. And there's an Ollie in, Ollie out debate. Both parts played by me. My acting skills at their finest. Go check that out, everybody. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.